Hello, I'm Ken Farr. Grab a tea or coffee and join me now for the following NewsNet Baton Rouge special report.
Dwight Hudson, Metro Councilman, a very active Republican leader in our parish. Dwight, why don't you give us an update on an issue or two from the Metro Council that you're interested in talking about?
Sure.
Yeah, so I wanted to give you guys a quick update that we received from the parish drainage engineering department in regards to last week's event. And I want to tie that back into the importance on everyone getting flood insurance, even if you're not in a flood zone or if you're in an area deemed flood zone X. So you'll remember about this time last year, we updated our parish floodplain ordinances to go from the standard of having subdivisions built to a 10-year storm standard to being a 25-year storm standard. So as we have this discussion, just keep in mind that most of you live in subdivisions that were designed for a 10-year storm. When you calculate the statistical rainfall at Ward's Creek for what we received last Thursday, that was over the threshold for a 200-year storm event calculated over a 2-hour window. So if you think about that, it makes sense that when you have a 200-year storm event in an area designed for a 10-year storm event, you're going to end up with flooding. Now, it does that, and that just goes to say that you don't have to have an event like 2016 where there was regional backwater flooding and that sort of thing to have end up with flooded homes and that sort of thing. So I just want to tie that back into the importance of, again, everyone getting flood insurance and making sure that you're protected. Ultimately, that's your best avenue to protect your own home, to protect your business and that kind of thing. The other big news that you guys would have seen out of the Metro Council would have been yesterday in the business report. There was an article about the parish's current inability to make the match for $255 million in federal funds that will go to cleaning out several different drainage canals in our area. Look, I just want to, continue to, this is something that I've really driven home at the Metro Council since I've been there, and I want to keep up the pressure on it. We have got to do a better job. We've got to take a serious look at our dedicated millages and our current unfunded pension liability and healthcare liability. When we talk about our nearly $1 billion budget, a lot of folks look at that large budget and say, well, gosh, why can't you go in there and find $2 million? We deal with the same thing that you guys at the state level deal with, in that a lot of our money is dedicated through dedicated revenue sources or otherwise dedicated because of indebtedness. So again, the ways that we can address that is going and looking at some of our dedicated taxes, like the library, the Council on Aging, mosquito abatement, several others, and then going in and making the structural changes necessary in the budget when it comes to pension and healthcare liabilities. So I just ask that you all remain engaged in that process so that we can have the money necessary to make sure that we are keeping up with our infrastructure and improving it.
Something exciting happening in the air, the possibility of a new city, the 5th largest city in our state. It will be, if passed, the wealthiest city in our state. It's on the ballot October the 12th, the new proposed city of St. George, and Norman Browning, probably the key leader in that the St. George movement, is here. Norman, why don't you come up and give us an update on what's happening?
The vote date is October 12th, so that's the biggest news. Secondly, in this session, and I don't know what Senator White's going to cover off on some of the bills and so forth, but there was a transition bill that was approved both through the House as well as through the Senate, which basically just gives the leverage for us to go ahead and fund the new city once it's voted on October 12th. That's still waiting to be signed by the governor. So it'll be a matter of probably just in a few months we'll be kicking off the campaign. So we'll be looking forward for your support there.
And if you put St. George in historic perspective, a number of us over 25 years ago got to thinking about what the real problems are with Louisiana in terms of education. Part of it being very large school districts. The quality of St. George is really breaking East Baton Rouge Parish down into more manageable school districts, a lot like you have in Texas. Of course, that's not what's on the ballot October 12th. That's just a step in that process, but certainly a very important consideration.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Ken Farr, and I will see you next time right here on NewsNet Baton Rouge.